Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. Today is 2019, December 13th, Friday. Oh, today is December 13th, Friday, and 12 o'clock, 17 minutes in the afternoon, San Francisco time. And today's topic is Japanese keyboards. I'm going to give you a introduction to the Japanese writing system and Japanese input system, meaning how do you type them, and Japanese keyboard layout. Now, in Japanese keyboard, it's just like English. You have many different type of layouts, such as in English you have Vorak, you have QWERTY, Vorak, Comac, and so on. So that in the same way, in Japanese keyboards, you have quite a few layouts. So I'm going to give you an introduction of that. And let's begin. Hey, Dan Morris. Dan Morris, I asked you before, but where are you from? If you don't mind to say, I must have asked you before, but I forgot. And are you in Discord? If not, join Discord, okay, guys. So let me show you my Discord, and we are going to get on to the topic quickly, and let's finish that topic, the Japanese input system, and so on, in about 20 minutes or 30. Then we're gonna chat random. Okay, so Discord. So those of you have not already joined Discord, I'm Brazilian but want to move to China or Japan. Oh, okay, right. Brazilian, right. Xah Lee Discord. Okay, so that is my Discord join invitation. So yeah, that'd be great. So anyway, so we let's talk about today's topics then. So I'm gonna just give you guys an introduction of the Japanese input system. And then after 20 or 30 minutes, then we're gonna chat random, and that will be it for today, whatever topics come up. Okay, so but let's begin. So Japanese writing system. So you need to know Japanese writing system before you can learn about the Japanese keyboard layouts. For example, let me show you some of the interesting things. Okay, so you go to my blog, Xah Lee Keyboards. Just search for that. You'll find my blog. So here is the Japanese keyboard layouts. Okay, we have quite a bunch of fascinating things. Let me show you. Okay, so what you see here is kind of the standard QWERTY keyboard. Okay, this is actually the most commonly used standard QWERTY keyboard. And then you have this thumb shift layout system. I'm going to explain that. Okay, this is a system. You got two shift keys, left shift and right shift. They are different from the English shift keys. And this left shift and right shift, they are positioned under your thumb. So this is another input system invented in 1980. And I'm gonna show you. So it's quite a lot interesting things. We are talking about keyboard history. So we are talking about Japanese language writing system, and also we are talking about the uh, input system. I'll tell you why we need that for Japanese, because you don't have enough keys to input Japanese. You have thousands of characters. Then you have the input system. Then you have the keyboard layout. All these things kind of go hand in hand. So when you have a system, you tend to have a specialized keyboard to go with it. For example, these keyboards are originally designed for the thumb shift system, the thumb shift input system. Look at this one, gorgeous. Now this keyboard is from 1984, I think this one. OS is 100 DP. So yeah, so you see, very interesting. We are looking at 1992. Okay, 1992. You have this keyboard, 1992, and you see you have two thumb shift keys. I'll tell you about what the other keys are when we come to explain that. So you have this model from year 2001 from Fujitsu. All these are from Fujitsu. You have left thumb shift, right thumb shift. You have this conversion or no conversion keys. Okay, then you have a modern version. This one is from 2010. When the thin keyboard laptop style. So you have, again, left thumb shift and right thumb shift. So we're gonna talk about that. So this particular one is called thumb shift. Then you have M-type system. M-type is another input system for Japanese. Let's look at this gorgeous keyboard. And this keyboard, this particular keyboard is from what year? I forgot. 1983. So you see, they have competing systems. By the way, these are not, although to you it may seem, oh, it just looks like the thumb shift keyboard, but actually they are entirely different. Okay, so you have this called M system, input system, and you can see this spectacular keyboard, this NEC, uh, MM system. So the Japanese system, the fascinating. Then you have this one, JIS X6004. So JIS X6004 system. That's another system, and this is just a diagram. I'm not sure there's an actual keyboard that come with it. I don't think so. But it's a generic system that can be used on any keyboard. Then you have the spectacular Tron keyboard. This is Tron, by the way. There's a rich history to Tron. Tron is also a operating system of Japan. Japan created a operating system called Tron, and at one point, it is in fact the most popular operating system used in the world. Why? Because all the little devices in Japan, they are using the Tron system. And there's a twisted story to it, because United States, the United States government, Microsoft talking with the United States government, then they talk to Japan. Then they say, "Thou shalt not use Tron, or else." So because Microsoft, US and Microsoft, they want the world to use the Microsoft operating system. So there is a little threat to prevent the Tron's operating system become popular. So anyway, this is a spectacular keyboard. Okay, the Tron keyboard, it comes with a Tron input system, different from the others we talked about. Then you have the new sticky. So basically, new sticky is a new one. Okay, so invented by this guy, I think it's invented by this guy. He's on Twitter. This is a new S-Real new keyboard. Okay, so this keyboard, so we have so many different Japanese layouts. Those are layouts. So before you actually understand about, to understand this layout, you need to know a little bit about how the Japanese writing system, how is it written. Okay, so we are going to give you, let's talk about that. The Japanese writing system, what characters are there? So Dan says, is Japanese writing system good for programming? No, not really. No, the language that's good for programming is basically English, partly because computing technology is mostly created by USA, Americans. We, created it, so it's in English mostly. And it's quite interesting to me that USA since 1960s developed the most of the computing architecture and software. Nowhere else. I mean, if you compare, basically nowhere else. The vast majority of computing technologies are created by USA. For example, we went to the moon, right? But Russia also went to the moon. we have nuclear bomb, but Russia and China and few other countries also developed that. However, the computer technology, it seems to me other countries didn't do much with it. You don't have, for example, you don't have a operating system. Well, you have one Japanese operating system. You do have a few languages invented in Japan, for example, Ruby, which is 19 by that is already 1990s. Okay, that kind of doesn't count. I'm talking about 1960s, 1970s. You do have like, but basically, it seems to me the computer technology are mostly. I mean, I find it strange that how come some other countries didn't develop much computer technology and operating systems. So anyway, of course, there are few out there. So there are few languages. So yeah. So anyway, so let's get back to the Japanese language. Okay, the Japanese writing system. Now, first of all, realize that the particular language and its writing system are entirely different, almost have nothing to do with each other. Now, 2 days ago, you check out my YouTube video. We did a talk about that on how the writing system of a language and the speech, the listening and speaking of a language, the how do you say that, the audio part, the speech part of a language is entirely different. So go watch that video. We talk about why and how they are entirely different. So anyway, so in Japanese, they have a language, but however, they for 1,000 years or more, they do not have a writing system. So they borrowed the writing system, the Chinese characters, from China. So let me just straight talk about the Japanese writing system. Okay, so Japanese writing system is made of several components. First of all, you have this kana. Okay, what you are looking at are the kana. Now, kana are basically a phonetic alphabet. So each of these symbol represents a sound. For example, this is ah. These two, both of them, the red and blue ah, and this is e, u, o, e. These are e and o. Ah, i, u, e, o. Yeah, ah, i, u, e, o. That's how you. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it in Japanese. And this column would be ka, ke, ka, ki, ku, ke, ko. Okay, and this column is gonna be sa, shi, su, se, so, and so on. So these are kana. These are phonetic symbols. Each one represents a sound. And why are they like? There are two sets of them. One is the red. The red is called hiragana, and the blue is called katakana. So you have the red hiragana and the blue katakana. You have two sets of them. However, so almost for each character, each symbol, that you have a corresponding symbol in the other set. Why is that? It's kind of like a capital letter system in English. Not exactly, but it's similar. So so you have ABC, you have capital letter case. So it's kind of similar in Japan. So anyway, so you have these. Both of these is called kana, and so kana have two sets: hiragana and katakana. Now the katakana, the blue one, is less used. They are used for place names, for imported words, foreign words, for place names, company names, imported words, emphasis, and so on. Basically similar to capital letters. So that's the blue one, katakana. And but normally you write in hiragana these phonetic symbols. Now remember, these are phonetic symbols. So let me summarize. Japanese writing system is made of several components. One of the first, one of the component is kana. They are phonetic symbols, and you are looking at them. And of this kana, there are two sets: hiragana and katakana. Okay, they are kind of like lowercase and capital case, kind of. Okay, so these are the phonetic systems, kana. So that's one component of the Japanese system. So you use these phonetic symbols uh, to notate how something is spoken. So once you know how to say something, you can write it down in hiragana or katakana. So that's a phonetic system, kind of like English alphabet. So, but that's not all. The Japanese writing system also use Chinese characters. Okay, literally, I mean, basically Chinese characters. They came from, like I mentioned, Japanese writing system are borrowed from Chinese. So 1,000 years ago, they imported. There's a contact. So Japanese borrowed almost the entirety of Chinese characters, the Chinese writing system. However, the Japanese language and the Chinese language, they are entirely different. They share no root. Okay, so they are entirely different languages. And Japanese, they just borrowed the Chinese characters as a writing system for their language. This just so happened. Okay, it's kind of strange because these two languages does not share anything. The grammar is entirely different, like totally different. But they borrowed the Chinese characters. Now you can see. So what is Chinese characters? Okay, so I have an example. So let me show you some examples. Okay. Um, so Dan Morris, oh, you are D4N. Okay, so I think I talked to you before. So let's see. Let me check if I'm doing good here. Where are the people? Where is Bart? Okay, so let's go to Xah Li Chinese character. Okay, let me show you quickly what Chinese characters look like. No, we don't want the drum keyboard. We want common Unicode characters here. Okay. Okay, not this page. So anyway, this here is an example of Chinese characters. Let me magnify. So this is Chinese. The Chinese characters look like that. Okay. And let's open this page so you can see. Okay, so these are Chinese characters. Now, so let's go back to Japanese. So the Japanese, they borrow Chinese characters. So in fact, almost all of these characters you see here, they will appear in Japanese text too. And basically, the meaning is almost exactly the same. Like 90% is exactly the same. So it's kind of funny. So today, when I read a Japanese text, for example, I don't know Japanese, but I know Chinese. So when I read Japanese, for example, here is Japanese text from Wikipedia. You see here. So you see, so some of the characters are complicated. For example, this one, let's magnify. Okay, let's see if we can magnify. So you see that character and this character and this character and this character and these three, actually these four, those are Chinese. You see, when you see fairly complicated characters, those are Chinese characters, and I can understand them. So when I read any Chinese, when we read Japanese text, we can basically make out what it is trying to say. I mean, what kind of thing it's trying to say. For example, when I read this, I see in, that means English. Okay, force, machine, finger, press, character or language, information or symbols, symbols, deliver model, language, written language, and enter force, something like that. Basically, machine, operate, or use, and so on. And it says, for example, Japanese keyboard, language. So when I read this, it goes like English, machine, fingers, press, characters, symbols, deliver, model, up, written language, pressure, basic, machine, operation, or use. Okay, and Japanese keyboard, language, both of them originally same European characters, and music instruments use mechanical, through model, electronics, machine. So when Chinese reads Japanese, you get a sense what it's talking about. So that is why, So this here is an example where Japanese, their language, their writing system is actually half of them is Chinese characters. That's today. Okay, so by statistics, if you look at the statistics of articles, there is information you can see. Now the Chinese characters in Japanese, they call it kanji. Okay, so in formal text like newspapers or magazines or books, 40% of the characters are Chinese. 36% is kanji. I mean the hiragana. 6% is katakana, the capital one, and others are punctuation, digits, and English letters. So you can see basically 40% are Chinese characters. The other 40% are the phonetic symbols of Japanese phonetic symbols, these kana. So that is actually, about the Japanese writing system. Now, where does the kana came from? They are derived from Chinese characters. Now, I don't have information here. You go to Wikipedia, then you can there. Okay, so there's a Wikipedia on Japanese writing system. You can read in detail. Japanese writing system. Okay, so anyway, that is about the components of the Japanese writing system. So in order to type Japanese, you must be able to type all these kana. There are about 40 each. There are 40 hiragana and 40 katakana. So altogether about 80 of these phonetic symbols. Then you also need to be able to type English letters. Now, English letters in Japanese, the alphabets, they call it romanji. Okay, here, romanji basically means Roman characters, because that's what they are. Latin was used in Roman characters, Latin alphabet. So you need to type the kana symbols, 80 of them, and you need to type the English letters, 26 lowercase plus 26 uppercase. Then you also need to type the Chinese characters. They are about, in normal Chinese education, if you grew up from, if you finish high school in Japan, you should know about 2,000 or 3,000. Okay, you need to know 3,000 Chinese characters. So it's very hard. So okay, so that's a summary. That is introduction about the Japanese writing system. Okay, that's one thing. So next we're gonna continue to talk about the Japanese input system. That is, how do you actually type them? And then we're gonna talk about Japanese keyboard layouts. Okay, how to type Japanese. So So you type them by. So there are many different input systems. One of the most popular is you type you just use a US keyboard, any QWERTY keyboard. Okay, for example, on the Mac we can switch to we can add a input system. Let's go there. Open keyboard preferences, and you can go to let's do it again. Wait. Oh, there. So I have US, I have pinyin. You can add a Japanese input system. Let's see, Japan. There, I have added a Japanese input system. Now we can let's try to type Japanese. Okay, I haven't done this before, so I don't know what's gonna go on. So I'm gonna magnify to the hell of it. Okay, so so let me talk about it first. So you type an English letter on any keyboard, then it will be converted to kana, hiragana of the phonetic symbols. Then after you typed, you have some kana entered. You press another key. There's a key on. There's a special way. Let me tell you about that. Okay. So anyway, you press another key that says convert. Then you have a selection of choices involving Chinese characters. Then you can select them. Then it becomes Chinese. For example, this character, you see, that's how it becomes Chinese character. For example, here's another example. So that is how you type Japanese. You press key on your keyboard, QWERTY keyboard, US keyboard. Then it becomes kana. Okay, it becomes the phonetic symbols. Then after you have a certain phonetic symbols, you can press a key, or you can press a key. Then it will pop up this selection that lets you to convert to Chinese characters. That's how you enter them. Now, if you want to type English letters or numbers, there is another key that switch you to just the US layout. So that's how you type Japanese. Okay, so let's try. Okay, I don't know how to say what to say. Let's say Japan. Okay, I believe Japan. The word Japan in Japanese is called Ninhong. Okay, so let me try it. N I. Oh, okay. So I need to switch to Japanese first. Okay, so you can see. Okay, so you can see there is a romanji. When you add a Japanese input system, it adds three of these. So when you are in here, it's romanji mod. Okay, it means it types A B C D just like English keyboard. Okay, romanji, Roman characters. Then if you go here, hiragana, then that types hiragana. Let's try. Okay, so let's try ninhong. Okay, nin. Oh, maybe that. I don't know. I don't know Japanese. Oh, there we have it. Correct. I got it correct. So that's apparently that's the kana. The phonetic symbols for the word Japan. Ninhong. How do I know? Because you see, there's a Chinese there. That's the Chinese characters for Japan. So let me explain. So once I typed N and H, and those kana showed up. Then I have two choices. Either I choose the Chinese character, or I choose the English Ningho. Okay, so actually I have several choices, several choices. So or I can stay with whatever I had, the phonetic symbols. So let's try that. Okay, so let's try that. Oops, where did it go? Uh, I okay, maybe that. I think that's that. Oh, mm, how do I enter? Okay, so enter, then enter. Okay, that's done. So let's try again. NH. Okay, wait. NIHO. There it is. Okay, so let's choose that. Wait, what did it say? Oh, when you choose Chinese, it actually give you explanations. Okay, so let's choose that. Japan. Okay, so Japan. Enter, enter. Okay, enter. So there we have it. Okay. So there. So that's example of how do you enter Japanese. Then you can also choose katakana, which is the kind of the capital case of the hiragana. Okay, so we have talked about the Japanese writing system, and we have talked about the how do you input Japanese now. We are pretty good. So the next thing to talk about is the Japanese keyboard layout. So we're gonna do that, and let me take a break, read the comments, and so on. And another thing we're gonna talk about is special keys on the Japanese keyboard. So you can see here is a Japanese, here is the Apple keyboard in Japan. So they are okay. They don't have special keys here, but on this keyboard, the Happy Hacking keyboard, you can see they have some extra keys. This, when you see this double circle, circular circle, that means convert. So when you press this key, it means you want to convert whatever kana you typed into Chinese. And if you press this key, this means no conversion. That's a slash over there. So that means when you, I think if you press that, it means just, okay, just go ahead, move on to the next input. What you have there is already good. So you have these two important keys. One is called uh, henken. Henken means change or convert. The other one is mu henken, which means no change, don't convert. So that's about the special keys on the Japanese keyboard. By the way, they have a few other special keys like hiragana mod, katakana mod. We have seen. Let me show you. Okay, so you see they have a few other special keys, but they are not necessary because, for example, we have seen here on the Mac, you just choose this instead. Okay, so let's go back here. So you can see there are keyboard shortcuts actually. You see there's a keyboard shortcuts. So, but on in Japan, if you buy some special keyboard, they have a key. It's so that corresponds to the keyboard shortcut. For example, this key here, this key to the left of the space, that those are Chinese characters, kanji, and it means English and numbers, meaning alphanumeric mod. So when you press that key, then the keyboard will behave just like a US keyboard. And but in our case, we can also press this romanji, this control shift semicolon for the same effect. So anyway, so that's good. So let me watch the comments and let's see where we go. So good morning, Bart. Bart, Bart, are you on Discord yet? So, uh, Ni Hong. Okay, so no Ni Hong. So Matt, good morning, Matt. Good morning, Zezuburen Yinten. Good morning to Japan, I think. So are you Japanese? Are you Japanese or are you Japanese in America? Like where are you from? So okay, let's move on to yeah. So we let's talk about let's move on to the keyboard input system? Not yet. Okay, great, Bart. Great. Uh, so let's start to talk about the keyboard layouts. This is fascinating. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let me just go talk about keyboard layout. Okay, the Japanese keyboard layout, fascinating. So we've been 34 minutes. That's good. So so Japanese keyboard layout. First of all, they have this what is called QWERTY JIS. Now JIS stands for Japanese Industrial Standard, something like that. Okay, so the QWERTY JIS layout is the standard name for basically US QWERTY layout. So and this is in fact what Japanese use most of the time. I mean, vast majority of Japanese, like 99% of Japanese people, they use this input system, QWERTY GIS layout. Now, this QWERTY GIS layout is basically exactly the same as a US keyboard, like no difference at all. So you just use whatever keyboard you are using, like right now on the Mac, on Windows, or if you are on Linux, just US keyboard. Then you go to the system preferences. You change the input to Japanese. Then you can start to type it. And in fact, this is vast majority of Japanese. That's what they use. By the way, Zetsuborenten. If I'm incorrect, correct me. Okay, so uh, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. So, 99% of Japanese people they actually use this input system, just like we have demoed before. You type English letters, then it becomes kana, then you press a key to possibly choose a Chinese character. You know, that's how you do it. And this system, in fact, this system for writing Japanese is the most inefficient system. Um, but that's but most Japanese use this system just like English. In English, the QWERTY layout is the worst layout as far as efficiency goes. Vorak, Comac, these are much more efficient. But because of historical reasons and convention, people don't want to change. We are already used to the system. So in the same way, the Japanese, they just use QWERTY JS, which is very inefficient because remember, you have to type English letters first. You have for each two English letter you type, it becomes one kana. Okay, so for each kana, you have to type two keystrokes. Then you type, then you have a word. Then you have to press another key. Then you have a bunch of selections. That lets you choose Chinese. So this is very inefficient. But however, the fact is that this is what most people use in Japan. In fact, similar situation happens in China too. Um, and in English and in French. So the keyboard layout actually, so almost like the whole world is using the keyboard layout, the worst system possible, and it just so happens we are stuck with it. Um, so just like programming, I mean, this happens in lots of areas. Like in programming, we are stuck with C and C++, two of the worst language possible. But we are just stuck with it. You cannot change it. Some people say, oh, just go use Golang, or just use Rust, or use Haskell, or use something, or Camel, or F sharp. Yeah, but you can't just force it because there's a whole industry already using it. Things like that, and history, and you cannot change. And also, old people don't want to change your habit. For example, if you are older people, you already programmed in C or C++ for 20 years. And now there's new language like, oh, Haskell, oh, Julia, oh, you should use Julia, oh, you use Rust and something. Yeah, but you don't have time to learn. You gotta get on with your life. You got other things to do, so you don't want to change. So change happens slowly, very slowly, until basically by generation, like one generation dies, the newer generation, like today's people, young people, many of you guys, young people in bot, okay, you you don't know the old things like C++. You don't know, but you when you were born, you started to learn the new things. So for you, that's your habit. So that's how things change slowly. So so we talked about the QWERTY JS layout. So actually, let me read comment. Bot says, what I hate about Japanese is that like 90% of people speaking Japanese on the internet are actually some wannabe weebos who learned manga speak. Yeah, that's true. Well, that's not totally true, because if you go to Twitter, actually, the Japanese people, they use a lot of them. They use American social networks. Like on Twitter, you have significant number of Japanese there. I mean, they are just talking with Japanese people. I mean, significant. Like I don't know what 10% of all Twitter users. That if I remember correctly, vast majority of Twitter users are not American, contrary to what you think or what we think. Like I think American, like English, American Twitter users in USA is like 40%, something like that. You go to internet, you can find, you search for Twitter demograph, you can find you can find the maps and statistics. But anyway, American is like 40% of Twitter users, and then you have other countries. And Japan, so happens, is like quite significant, like 20% or 10%. Japanese people, they have very fast internet, faster than USA, and they are very technological country. So yeah, a lot Japanese people use Twitter. Right. So I mean, if you are not Japanese, you don't see them because you usually follow your friends. But a lot of Americans, for reasons I talked about this in previous video, for reasons they want to, they watch, young people especially, they watch a lot of Japanese anime and comics, animation, and they they start to like follow the Japanese fashion and Japanese words, things like that. Weeable, that's what they call it. That's what is the code, weeable. So Bart says you love Julia. Julia already start with index one. I know. I know C++. That is why I know it's cancer. Okay. I just know weeable always go to Japanese restaurants to feel more Japanese, whereas real Japanese tourists from actual Japan go to fish restaurant. That is not related to Japan in any way. The weeable, well, that's part of that is internet culture. It's not. It's not actually. It doesn't really. I don't think it's really happened that much. I mean, you just got this small niche group of nerds who are doing this kind of thing, and they are on Twitter. They gamers, and they spread it. But in reality, I don't think there's really that many people doing that because it's kind of silly. But actually, well, it's a phenomenon. So math cubes. Good morning. I still don't get how we are still using the same physical keyboard layout. Yes, exactly. So I have Chinese people on GitHub and Steam. Yes, Chinese is everywhere. You mean Chinese people in Germany or? Uh, so anyway, let's go back to the. Let's finish this. Okay, then let's talk about other things. So Japanese input. So you have the QWERTY JIS layout, which is just like a English keyboard. Then you have the Nicholas layout. This is starting to get interesting. Now Japanese, they in the history of Japanese computer development, they they realized that this QWERTY layout is not efficient. So they invented this one. This one is invented in 1979 or 1980. So let me talk about this one, thumb shift. Okay, so this is a thumb shift keyboard. So you can see many historical models here. Now they are invented by Fujitsu. Fujitsu is a giant company. Okay, and invented. So this is called thumb shift, and it is also known as Nicola layout. Anyway, so in 1978, this person Yasunori Kanda invented this thumb shift keyboard. He's a lead inventor, and when he's working for Fujitsu, so Fujitsu, he invented it. Uh, and then later on, about 5 or 10 years later, it passed to the Japanese Input Consortium, and they renamed. They gave a standard name for this layout, so it's called Nicola layout. It's the same thing, basically the same thing, thumb shift system. So in 1980, that is the era of word processors. We begin to have home computers, but mostly at the time it's word processors. So they created this word processor, very expensive, and this is the first keyboard that uses the thumb shift system. So let me show you. Okay, so this it looks like that. Okay, so you have two keys, left thumb shift and right thumb shift. Anyway, and as we showed before, you have this fantastic one. This one is from this one is from let's stay this for a while. Okay, so wait, so boss says, what do you think of Japanese companies, Sony, Panasonic? Well, I don't know. Math Cube says, what? Just a couple of online friends. So Math Cube says, I really hate laptop keyboards because all of them sucks. I know QWERTY and Walkman layout. Okay, so Bart says, okay, so what do you think? Okay, so the spacebar is really a waste of space. Yes, indeed. The Japanese keyboard, they don't use spacebar much. Those are not. By the way, these are, so this is a left thumb shift. This is right thumb shift, and here at the bottom it's no conversion. On the right is conversion, to convert to Chinese characters, basically. So okay, so here is a spacebar. Yeah, it's pretty big. I don't know why. So anyway, so that's the thumb shift. So we have several models. Okay, let's just look at them. So this one is from Fujitsu, year 2001. And then you have this one from year 2010. Okay, thumb shift. Now, should I go to explain how it works? Okay, so let me explain. Okay, yeah, I should. So why is this efficient? First of all, you got thumb shift, which is much better than the shift at using your pinky. Okay, but that's not the point. The main thing is that this system is based on Kana. Okay, now this system is based on Kana. That is, when you type a key, like one of the key here, it shows on your screen directly a Japanese pronunciation symbol. Like you don't have to convert from English to the kana. Like before, when we were doing it, we have to type, for example, N, I, two characters to get one kana symbol. But in this keyboard, each key is a kana already. So that saves you, twice of the keystrokes already. Then then for each key, let's see if I want to. So we don't have a big image here. So let me just for each key you have like two symbols on it. Okay. Okay, so how do I explain this? Okay, so let's try to focus on this key. Okay, this key on the right hand J. Okay, right hand J key of QWERTY. So when you press this key, you got the symbol on the lower on the lower row. Yes. So if you do not press any of the thumb shift, you got the symbol on the lower row. But if you press the thumb shift on the other side, okay, then you get a then you get a then you get a okay. So if you press the thumb shift on the other side, then you get a variation of this kana. Basically, they add two dots to it. Okay, like that, like this. Okay, you see, this is called a um, voiced symbol. Those two dots, it's called voiced symbol. And if you press a key but with the same size thumb shift key, what you got is the upper row symbol. Okay, so you got that. So you can press a key, it will become itself. But if you press it with the other side thumb, it adds it comes out a symbol with a voiced mark. That okay, that is called Dakuten. Basically a symbol for voiced mark that's used in Japanese. Okay, it's like accent, in English, kind of. But if you press a key with the same side of the thumb shift, you get the symbol on the upper row. So each key, basically, depending on whether you press the thumb shift or left thumb shift or right thumb shift, you have three character variations. So that is how this keyboard works. So, I mean, the thumb shift system works. So let me summarize. Thumb shift system, also known as Nicola layout, it works by such that each key corresponds to a kana symbol directly. And you have two thumb shift keys under your thumb. When you press them, they will change the kana into some other symbol. Basically, okay. So this is the kana, and also one important thing to note is that the kana symbols on this keyboard, they are arranged in an efficient way. That is, the most frequently used kana is on the key that's most easy to press. For example, these ones, index pressed by middle finger and index finger, we can tell right away these symbols are more often used than those symbols on the side, here or here. So it's arranged efficiently. So that is about this thumb shift layout, also known as Nicola layout. Okay, so we finished talking about that. Again, let's look at the keyboard just to just to refresh our minds. You see this keyboard. You got two thumb shift keys. Then you have the convert or don't convert keys. Don't convert on the left, convert on the right. That is when you want to convert the kana into Chinese characters. So efficient, it's an efficient system. Okay, now we have talked about the QWERTY.js layout, and we have also talked about the Nikola thumb shift layout. We can now talk about M-type layout. Now it should be easier. Uh, I'm wondering I talked too slow. Yeah, I talked too slow. So let's see what's the comments. The spacebar is really come on that Japanese keyboard still sucks because it doesn't conform to your hands. Mm, well, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't suck, you know, because you how far you wanna go. Well, if you wanna talk, I mean, or then you could say all keyboard sucks because it's not a system where you directly connect to your brain. That system is coming. You just connect the USB to your brain. Whatever you think, you just type, right there. That's a more efficient system. So depends on what level you want to go. So this is efficient. So if you are thinking, oh, the keyboard is not split, it's not tinted, or it's not ball shaped like my like my like that like the one I'm using, the Kinesis Advantage 2. Yeah, that's a different thing. And remember, this is 1980, 1979, when Japanese created this thumb shift. In USA you don't have that yet. Anyway, so we finished talking about that layout. So let's read the comments a bit. Gonna leave early. Okay. Well, have a good day, Matt. Yeah, in case if you are already not gone yet. So Paul Duro, they had pinpoint tablets in the 90s pen operating system. Okay, still better though. Yeah. Uh, Math Cube says, is Nikola keyboard still popular in Japan? No. Or have they converted to American style keyboard? Yeah. Like I mentioned before, 99.9% of Japanese, more than that, 99.99% of Japanese people in Japan, they simply use the QWERTY.js layout, basically US keyboard. Okay, that's why I mentioned this before. It's really inefficient, but people just use it. There's nothing, just like USA. We are still using QWERTY. What? Yeah, so they don't know. They don't have the no. They don't have. In Japan, most keyboard are just like that. For example, this is Apple keyboard Japan. And this is very popular Happy Hacking keyboard, the Japanese version. They don't have the thumb shift keys. They don't have that. This one is just like this is just English keyboard. I mean US keyboard, except that they have smaller spacebar. They have this change key and no change key. Then they have extra the kana key. That's all. I suppose when you press the kana key, it toggles between English and the kana input. Yeah, like it doesn't do much. Like you don't actually need, on keyboard, when if they don't have this change key or no change key, basically you can type space or enter. Like usually space is for no change, enter is for change, I think. Okay, something like that. Sometimes they do shift enter, things like that. So okay, so actually let's continue to talk about M-type system. Yeah, so let's talk about M-type, then Tron a little bit, then let's done. So M-type is another system invented by NEC. Okay, so let me show you what is M-type. Now M-type, this one you are looking at, it's based on not kana input system. It's based on English input, just like the one I tried to type before. So, but however, the English alphabet are arranged according to the efficiency of Japanese kana. For example, you look at this, you see EUIAO on the left home row, and on the right hand home row you have KSTNH. You might think that's strange. It's the way that it's that way because they are arranged according to the efficiency of entering kana. So if you type K, so you again just like before, you type two keys, two English letters to create one kana. However, this time the English letters alphabets are arranged efficiently for the kana. So you type two letters, you get a kana. Okay, then yeah, that's about it about this system. This is called M-type system. The thumb keys on a Nikra don't conform to your hands. They why what do you mean? They kind of they do. They are in the middle. I mean for Japanese they kind of they do, I think. So anyway, so we are looking at M-type input system. Okay, so M-type. So the good part, I mean the thing about this system is that it's English based, but the letters are arranged efficiently for Japanese. That's a good thing about this keyboard. That's the important thing about this keyboard. So let's have a look. Everything else is just same. So again, so this one is invented in 1983. So apparently the NEC is a big company in Japan, like a huge industrial corporation. NEC, Fujitsu, they are all huge companies. So apparently, it seems to me they are in competition because remember the thumb shift system is invented by Fujitsu in 1980. That's the date when they have a keyboard using that system. But NEC came out with M type. So apparently they are in competition. And NEC came out with this keyboard. And it's pretty good. It looks pretty fancy. And look, they are using mechanical keys. Uh, ALPS switch. And apparently, throughout history, you have several models of the NEC, the N system keyboard. Yeah, so you have historical books on it. You have this. I don't even know what computer is this. NEC Mini 7. Okay, uh, machine. This terminal or whatever. Then you have another one, a variation, M type. Now remember it's M type, okay? Because how do you know it's M type? Because you look at the arrangement of the letters on a keyboard, right? So it's supposed to be EUIAO on the left hand home row. EUIAO. So look at this one, EUIAO. Okay, they changed one key or something. Oh, there it is, EUIAO, right? And this one, EUIAO again. Oh yeah, so actually, right. So let's look. Then EUIAO. Yeah. So they have quite a few versions. So that is M type. That concludes the discussion about the M type system. EUIAO. Okay, let's argue at this giant picture for a minute. Okay, so that's M type. Then the next thing is JIS X6004 layout. Now this system, okay, so this system is Kana based. So that means when you type a key, it enters a Kana directly. And the Kana is arranged efficiently. The most frequently used is placed on the home row by the index, by the strong fingers. Okay, and there's a twist. Now they have a shift key. Now the shift key, just like the US keyboard shift key, they function as a prefix key. So that is, you press the shift key, release it, then you type whatever kana, then that kana will be different than if you don't press the shift key. So in other words, you don't have to hold down the shift key. And the left shift and the right shift have the same meaning. So that's about this system. Yeah, that's about this system. JIS X6004. Okay, then you have the Tron system. This is the Tron system. The Tron system is Kana based input, and however, the layout, it has a separate layout to type English, and that is using Vorak. And okay, let's look at the big picture. Okay, so again, it's Kana based. You see Kana, you see those Japanese symbols, those are phonetic symbols, Kana. So when you press a key, that symbol appears on the screen directly. You don't have to type English letters first to get that. So Kana based. And the kana are arranged efficiently. The most used kana are pressed by your strong fingers. So that's it. However, the other thing is that it has you look at the English alphabet. You see A O E U I here. So that is actually Vorak. So that means when you switch to the alphanumeric, the Romanji English layout, the layout is actually Vorak, so it's efficient for when you actually type English letters. So that's the main thing. It also has other special things like it also have a left and right shift system using your thumb. Um, so I'm not going to go into detail about that, but basically it's somewhat similar to the thumb shift, somewhat. Okay, not exactly the same. So Zoomwell says the Tron is my true endgame. Yeah, it's a fantastic keyboard, and in fact we have some videos of people typing on the Tron machine. Okay, let's have a look. So this is a full Tron keyboard. Apparently they also have some sort of optical input system for pen input. I've never seen people using it. So this is the keyboard, and this is someone typing on it. So remember, Tron came out in 1987. So now remember, the thumb shift came out in 1980. Then you have the M system, M type, M system came out in 1983. Then the Tron, 1987. All of them are quite different, but all of them are designed to be efficient for the Japanese input system. Now, I don't know exactly which one is more efficient. I'm pretty sure if you are in Japan or if you read Japanese, there are perhaps studies. And I've talked to some of the Japanese, but I didn't get a clear answer. Like maybe do they have competition to show which one is exactly more efficient than the others, or maybe they have computer analysis today. For example, today in English language, we have websites that compare QWERTY, Vorak Comac, Coleman, Walkman, Norman. You compare different layouts, and you have computer programs that do analysis and tell you which one is supposed to be more efficient. I think similar thing must exist so that you can tell which one is more efficient, the thumb shift or the M system or the Tron system. But I don't know what's the answer. So anyway, so that's about the Tron keyboard. Okay, the Tron system. Okay, okay, I think that's it. Now there's another system called New Stickney. I This system appears to be invented few years ago, like 5 years ago. I don't know exact. Well, yeah. So I don't know the history about this much, but I think it's invented, or I don't know that system's history well, but it seems to have to do with this guy, the guy who created this Israel new keyboard. You can buy this keyboard, and it's very good. There are people, American, who use this keyboard and compare to, for example, Ergodox and truly ergonomic, and they prefer this one. They think this one is better than Ergodox, for example. And this is about $500 US dollars. You have to buy in Japan. You can buy it now. Like they I think they ship to USA, but anyway, you have to go to their website. So this guy is on Twitter, and I've been emailing him. I've been he's been chatting, helping me sometimes about these my questions about Japanese keyboards and input. So it's very good. So anyway, I mean, yeah, the keyboard is very good, and he's helpful. So you can see here a comparison of truly ergonomic versus the Israel new. And also, interesting thing about this Israel is that they have two different sizes. So for you guys who have smaller hands, or women, you can, if you want the smaller keyboard, you can go buy this one, but $500 expensive. So anyway, that's about it for today for the talk about the language writing Japanese writing system introduction, and the Japanese input system. How do you type Japanese, and Japanese keyboards layouts? The variety of them. So that's it. Okay, so that's a long talk. Okay, so I'm thinking what we're gonna do now. 1 hour and 12 minutes. Bart, are you still here? Oh, so Math Cube says, so what happened to these layouts? Why did everyone abandon these for QWERTY JIS? Yeah, so all these efficient layout, it turns out nobody uses it. Just like actually, the situation is comparable to the English situation. QWERTY versus Vorak versus Comac. Comac is much more efficient. QWERTY is much. I mean, Vorak is much more efficient. QWERTY sucks, but most vast majority people, 99.999% of people who use a computer to type English, they will still use QWERTY. They don't even know about Vorak. They don't even know about Comac. That's the situation. So why what so we have a efficient system, Vorak and Comac. Why is nobody using it? Well, it's because it's just habit, and the things that how the things are habit. For example, why people don't know about Vorak? Because first of all, the keyboard we buy, it's all QWERTY labels. Yeah, but we nerds, we know we can study, we can buy blank keys or whatever, we can learn. But for vast majority of people, your mom, your factory workers in Chinese restaurants, dishwashers, those who mop toilets at McDonald's, or lawyers, businessmen, they are not nerds. They buy a keyboard, they just type it. So they just see QWERTY. They never know what the fuck is Vorak. Why do you need Vorak? That's a situation. So you don't get to change. You don't. It's not easy to change. For the Japanese case, basically the reason is the same. The reason is the same. So there are a niche group of people in Japan who know about this Japanese layout and they use it, but it's few. It's just like U.S. nerds. It's just like those of us who choose to use Vorak, or those of us who choose to build your own keyboards. Very few. One in 100,000, 1 in 1 million people. Very few. So in the same way, Japanese, this they they didn't catch on for reasons, just for the same, similar to the reason Vorak didn't catch on when Vorak is invented, because there are some other issues. When Vorak was invented, there's already QWERTY, typewriter machines already popular. People don't want to change. You don't want to change habit. By the time it's too late. Too late. In the same way, there are different reasons. For example, the thumb shift, when it came out, I read the history of the thumb shift. Which one? This one. This one. For example, these keyboards. Okay, when it came out, it's popular. Actually, it became somewhat popular in 1980s. Okay, so these are in 1980s. You know, but at that time, it's word processors. You don't really, the home personal computer is just beginning to happen. So when personal computer happened, then most people, it also relates to USA, because personal computers you can just buy from USA, right? Not necessarily in Japan. I mean, you can so you can buy maybe cheaply from USA or something. But most of them are made just with QWERTY keyboard. You don't have the thumb key. You don't have a thumb key like that, like that. So when the personal computers becomes more and more popular, and this word processor kind of thing, they become less popular, because the personal computers you can put on Microsoft Word, just replace these dedicated word processors. Then, but the most majority of home personal computers, they come with a QWERTY keyboard. So therefore, this becomes less and less popular. So it eventually just died out. That's the story I read for the thumb shift system. That is the reason it kind of just died out. And for other systems such as the M type, um, I don't know exactly what's the story, but I guess it's a similar M type. And then you have the Motron. I mean the Tron. For similar reasons, they just died out. Like it's funny. Like a few years ago, 3 years ago, I asked Japanese people on Twitter, which one is your favorite input system? I show them the M type, the thumb shift, and most of them, I mean, they are programmers. Okay, I think many of them are programmers. They choose the QWERTY JIS, the most inefficient system. I don't know why. It just so happens that's that way. So okay, that's it. But are you still here? Oh, I think that's about it. So Zumwell says the price would stay high since you only produced for a niche market. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it for today. We shut down in 1 minute. 1 hour and 20 minutes. So like you can go to a local Walmart and get one off the shelf. Yeah. So So I wonder why don't someone mass produce these good keyboards so the price will come down. Like you can go there, yeah, very low demand. Yeah, for something this specialized. Yeah, they are not. It's not really specialized now. It's not like, for example, if you are, yeah, I mean, you are saying why don't they just come out the Fujitsu or NEC, these big Japanese companies? Why don't they just create just like Microsoft? They create a Microsoft version of keyboard like that. Well, they did. That's back then. But every time you do that, there's a risk. I mean, most people don't care. I mean, they don't want to. They don't want to change. I think that's the reason. I mean, if you are a big company, you of course every company they are interested in making money. If so, therefore, if it's a great idea, if they are going to create, reintroduce the Tron, and everyone is gonna buy it, they'll be rich. They will love it. But I'm pretty sure they thought, they know it's not gonna work. They introduced this keyboard. They spend huge amount of money, millions of dollars, to make this, a new version come out. Spend huge amount of time in marketing, and it will end up nobody is buying it. Then they wasted few million, 10 million, $100 million. I think that's the case when they, yeah. Okay, that's it for today. Where's Spot? Bot? Okay, so bye guys. If you like my stuff, support me. Okay, PayPal. You go to my website. You will see my PayPal, my Amazon gift card, and Patreon. Okay, so support me. Thank you guys. Bye.